Hey guys, Steve here with the How to Master the Art of Selling Real Estate. Today we're going to talk about building quality relationships and that result in referrals that ultimately result in listings and real estate sales. Ultimately, I took a couple notes on this today, but referrals are kind of built through what I call a client value type chain. Um, and let me just kind of explain that. Basically, you are creating a bonding relationship with your clients and anyone that that would potentially become a client, as in your network. And ultimately, you have to do that. You have to let them your name, your face, and what you do for a living. Let them know that you are a real estate agent and that you are a real estate professional. A lot of agents make a huge mistake when they're new, as they tell people that they're interested in selling real estate. They're kind of part time. A lot of insecurities that they have ultimately end up costing them business, because no one is going to want to work for you if they do not simple family referrals here and there. Ultimately, people want to work with professional, and you have to present yourself as one in everything that you do. And ultimately, you have to uh, build on an identity too as well with the people. You have to let them know through public relations campaigns everywhere where you're in and out effectively of what you do. Always have your business cards with you, and ultimately always be able to gain appointments and set appointments out of reflex. Ultimately, you're creating relationships. You should be meeting people and asking what they do, how you can help them, how they can help you get business, and you have to ask for the business. And there's ways of doing it where you're not being uh, overbearing. I mean, you are basically just communicating what you do and letting them know that you're a professional at it, and that you would appreciate if they would send you leads, referrals, and appointments that have anything to do with buying or selling real estate. And you do that effectively. And also, you do genuinely need to figure out what they do for their living, and whether they're electricians, whether they're plumbers, whether they're insurance agents, and you need to and build their businesses as well. I mean, this is like a win-win thing. So when you hear somebody that needs a certain electrician, you want to plug them. And that's what business networking 101 is. And it's not something where you should ever feel um, not comfortable doing. I mean, if you are going to be in the real estate sales industry, you have to be comfortable in doing this and prospecting 24/7. But ultimately, I think that what I really want to stress here is, when you're doing these things, make sure that you guys, when you do have a actual lead or an actual potential to make an appointment, because a lot of people do these things abstractly, but they miss the cues. They don't listen to people. They don't understand what the people are telling them, and they just are boldly professing how great they are and boasting. And that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm saying be present. Obviously, let them know who you are, how they can get a hold of you, and what you do. That is absolutely number one. But also, too, you need to establish yourself as an industry market leader and professional and expert in all ways. And that's something that they need to know too. So that way, when they do refer other people to you, they know that them people they can trust fully in them people. As in, no one wants to refer someone to someone and then something bad happens. I mean, think commonly, like if you were to refer a contractor to somebody and they did a terrible job. I mean, that's one thing you have to understand. Like, you have to be a professional and follow through in everything that you do in a professional manner. And then you will receive even more and more. A lot of new real estate agents, they'll say to me things like, "Oh, well, I can't believe that this certain family member didn't use me. They knew I had my license, and they knew I needed the business and whatnot. And ultimately, you didn't deserve that business. The people, you didn't present yourself as an industry expert and And even if it's within your own family, you have to shake that off, because ultimately those the ex people that you know in your old life, they know you have to be born in real estate. They have to know you as a professional, and they will trust me. The people that you don't get at the beginning of your career, they will see you out there, and they will come back around to you 5 6 years later. I mean, you're in this thing for the long term. People, yeah, short term goals, but ultimately you're building a pipeline, a lifeline of success. And ultimately, to do that, you have to be that professional in every aspect and manner. And ultimately, when you build these relationships, you need to do it through the community as well. If I personally never had kids, but I've seen many effective realtors sponsor baseball teams and do community actions and help out of their genuine heart, and they receive tons of referrals and business off that. They were not doing that to get business; they were doing that to truly help. And you have to know that. You know what I mean? That's what you have to be. And if the business comes, that's fine. But ultimately, you need to put your heart in doing the right things for your community and being a leader. And then when your proficiency and you're known as an expert, you will get more referrals and whatnot. The best place to get referrals from is from your current and past clients, because ultimately, if they've trusted you and you had a successful transaction with them, they automatically have no problem referring you to the next person, as they had a good experience with you. If they did not have a good experience with you, that probably would not be a good place to go for business. But ultimately, I mean, every client should have a top-notch experience with you as their realtor. And that is key, that everyone knows that. And I think that ultimately, you need to do certain things when you're building a referral type basis. Like, you need to top real estate agents in your network. If you have an opportunity to go to lunch with them, buy their lunch, take them out to lunch, learn from them, ask questions, have the questions prepared ahead of time, ask them what they do. A lot of top real estate agents actually enjoy helping and mentoring and giving out information, because we seeked it at one time and we couldn't get it. You are going to have some real estate agents and whatnot that don't want you to succeed. That's pretty normal. So don't let that bother you. Inner office relationships and things like that with other real estate agents, I would keep it at a business type thing. When I was growing up in the industry, I was young, and I seen a lot of real estate agents going out, working together, drinking beers and things like that. It's a negative thing. You don't ever want to get into those habits. I know there's a lot of different sections and things like that for real estate agents. I would set yourself apart from that from the beginning, and just let people know, hey, I'm busy with my family, with working, community, things like that. Don't get sucked up into that. Ultimately, you have to set yourself apart. And that means everywhere, even at your office, you have to be on your A game at all times. When you have when you're in a highly competitive real estate brokerage office, you will have agents that literally want you to fail, especially ones that aren't, if you're actually putting up successful numbers and whatnot, they will try to hold you back, discredit you, start rumors about you. That's pretty normal. So just don't let those things affect you. Don't take things personally, and just move forward. Keep your eyes on your goals and your asking what you do on a day to set yourself apart. Ultimately, the agents within your office are your competition. Do not forget that for 1 second. Ultimately, know that it does not matter what they do. Ultimately, your results, what comes through your sales presentation and the way that you hold yourself at a high standard, will ultimately result in your successes and what. So hold it down and keep strong in that aspect. Also, to treat your referrals right. Like, if a sales agent sells one of your listings, include the thank you card to them. Treat everyone wise. Make sure you survey your customers, get testimonies from them. Let them know what, it's okay to even ask, where did I fall short at? What did I miss out on? And then improve on those things. Do a report card for every single person that you have. And then ultimately, anytime you do make a sale or a transaction, you want to follow up with people after closing. I can't tell you how many people Do not trust me on this. They do not. They will sell a home and never make contact with that client again. That is the most foolish thing that you could ever do. As in, you should always check on your customers, see how the move went. And these little tiny things, prospecting, take 10 minutes, and make sure they're genuine. You're not just doing this to get more business. That's something that I want to stress from the beginning of some of my coaching. We're not doing this to get more business, to do the right thing. Like, ultimately, it's important to check on your customers after they move in, how they moved, how they got to here, how did things go, or the new schools going, what's going on there. And you need to find those things out, and those calls should be automatically scheduled the day after closing, the week after closing, 30 days after closing, 60 days after closing, and six, and then follow up every 3 months, every quarter from there. And that's automatic. That's just what a good sales professional does. I mean, it's common sense for one, but it also will generate a relationship. Your referral base is within your things. I mean, if you work that hard to get a listing from a cold call, or or chase a lead of some sort, and you actually do obtain the business from the beginning, I mean, you understand how crazy it is to not work warm contacts versus cold contacts. I mean, I'm an expert at both, and I'm not going to lie to you. If I don't have warm contacts, I'm going to knock on doors. I'm going to devise listing flyers, call for sell by owners, expired listings, track estates, anything that I can, right? Because that's what a real estate agent does. But I mean, you're not following up with your prior customers. I mean, you're throwing away so much business. I can't even explain it. Like, ultimately, like, people get it all wrong. They think that if a customer let's say a customer melts down on you and freaks out on you or something like that at a closing, or something to feel right, they're going through a lot of stress. Like, they're going into a comfort zone they're not familiar with. And ultimately, all you do as a professional is give them every information, everything that they need. And if something doesn't go right, it doesn't mean that it's actually, you need to do the opposite. You need to work harder to help your customer out, to get the information they need, so that they can make intelligent, calm decisions throughout the whole process. And whether that comes down to offer negotiations, to anything, expertise. The reason why you see millions of people get their real estate license and fall out of the business and never succeed is because ultimately they weren't trained correctly. And the reason they're not trained correctly is because they're trying to get advice from real estate agents in their office, who are ultimately their competition. So they're kind of misleading them. And what happens eventually is you have people that are going into and let's say they do get a sale or a transaction, whether that be from a buyer lead or even a listing or whatnot. What happened is they don't have any experience with negotiating the offer. There's no tips. They don't understand how to overcome objections throughout the whole. Um, and ultimately, it all comes down to them lacking wisdom and information that is actually, with the information age, it's actually easily obtainable. It can be obtained through me. I can give you lists of books, my own personal that I've written, and just things like that. And ultimately, you can find everything. It's easy to find everything that you need, and you can always gain proficiency as an expert in your industry if you seek it, and you seek it with the passion. You know what I mean? You need to kind of like set new goals today. Like, if you're a current average real estate agent or beginner real estate agent, you have to be reborn. You need to actually change your complete attitude of what you're doing. Why is it not working? You know what I mean? You should have a 30-day plan of everything. What are you going to do from week one? If you're a new real estate agent, are you going to have your professional photo taken today? Are you going to build a profile on Zillow? All these things have to be mapped out in your day-to-day operations. A lot of real estate agents being self-employed, they actually fall into the trap of like waiting for business and things to come. You have to go get it, but especially at the beginning, and you have to be pro have a business schedule set out. And you can work from home, you can work from wherever, work from your car, you work from the office if you'd like to, but ultimately you need to have a schedule, and you need to have certain amount of things in that schedule. And that most important thing is prospecting and building your referral base in this business. And once you understand that, then you will actually do that is your day-to-day function, is doing that. And ultimately, if you lack market proficiency, you need to go out and visit houses. You need to do things to do that. You're not necessarily going to be effective. Yes, you at the beginning you should run some open houses and things like that for some other realtors, but you're not going to gain a whole bunch of business from that and buyers from that. Most of that is to gain proficiency in talking to people and whatnot. And you can, but you make the best of everything that you do. You know what I mean? You find your niche within the community, whether that be certain neighborhoods, whether you go into new construction, whether you become a real estate expert in real single family and multifamily residential income properties. Do it all, but ultimately being great at it is the key. And when you become an expert at something, then it comes through everything that you do, from your presentation to how you lead your life. And ultimately you will gain certain things, as far as like there's even an art to self promotion. Like you actually um there's effective ways to promote yourself in everything that you do. And like branding, you need to be an expert at marketing. Take marketing classes, upper level classes, and everything. I mean, everything from how your logos look to your branding to everything that you do, your sales presentation packets. Everything needs to be tip top. Your business card, your images, your online profiles, everything needs to be at a high level. And when you do that and you provide testimonials and those things, and there's, whenever I went on a listing presentation of, especially on a prospect that didn't know me personally from another client, I always provided telephone numbers of the past clients and testimonials, so that way they could directly call them. And when you provide references like that, and then people are standing for you, and that they know you're a professional, and then the people find out they're a professional, and also too, like you have to know like certain times when you go into presentations, especially listing presentations, on when I hate when people say the word close sell or present a deal. You have to soften your words up. But those are actually words that you should not use. But for this video, we'll say basically, let's say when you talk about sales, you need to know certain times when you need to motivate the prospective seller on a listing on when to sign a listing agreement. As in, so many people will go through an interview and stuff and never ask for the actual listing agreement, whereas I actually will ask for it and assume that I'm going to get it instantly. And that confidence comes through. And ultimately, when you're a true professional, they don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste theirs. So if they are motivated to sell their home and they are going to list their home, you should ask for it and ask to start immediately on that listing. As in, you should have your purchase. You should never walk into a house without a filled out listing agreement with your commissions on it. And you should literally have your full marketing plan, everything be ready to roll. And you should have everything ready to roll, where you should be able to put that house on the market by the end of the business day, and have professional photography lined up and everything from your signage, your full marketing plan. And when you go into business like that, and you I don't want to say maybe assume the sale, as in you visualize it, but you also that you're the best when you go in presentation. So there's no point in them interviewing anyone else, if that makes sense. And when you stress that and you stress it properly, they will that confidence will convey to them. But you have to remember, if you have any slips in your sales presentation where you're not presenting yourself as an expert, and you have any kind of doubt or any kind of things in your presentation that are lack of market knowledge, or lack of things about certain things about a house. I mean, you need to know every single component of a house. You need to study inspection reports. You need to understand poured foundations versus block foundations versus 2x10 construction. I mean, as a real estate professional, you need to know every single thing about a house, everything about the land, everything about the real estate development, everything about the sanitary improvement district, the taxes, the school, the little schools. You need to know the exact mill levy of the tax rate of the neighborhood, how much of it goes towards the community college. I mean, you really need to be a neighborhood expert. And when you are, that will come through your sales presentation. And to gain all that proficiency, it just requires hard work and passion. And it does not take 20 years. I mean, I've seen agents in their Excel is top, producing real estate agents instantly. And in a lot of ways, it can become a young man's game. I mean, whoever has the most work ethic is going to win. I mean, when I was in my 20s and 30s, my work ethic was unmatched. I mean, I had a passion for what I did 7 days a week. That's what I did. I loved it. And I was rewarded financially for it significantly. And now, yeah, I'm retired now, but I didn't retire just off of the commissions and the real estate sales. I retired off of being wise and investing my money and being extremely frugal throughout the whole process. And ultimately, I also had purchased a lot of real estate foreclosures and the best deals that I could. And it wasn't multiple ones, it was one a year. So sometimes, and over time, when you do that and you rent them out, you become, your real estate appreciates and you have positive cash flow. And ultimately, real estate has done very well in the last 10 years. And it's appreciated greatly. So, and it always will. The economic concept of scarcity is something that you have to understand. There's always an ever-growing population base, but there is never going to be more land. And that's why real estate always appreciates and is scarce. That's the economic scarcity. So you learned something new today. But ultimately, real estate is and always will be a safe investment for your customers and people that own homes. There is never going to be more land, and real estate commodities, as far as wood, steel, concrete, they always increase. Labor always increases over time, which will drive the prices of real estate up as a hedge and a protection for their biggest investment of their lives. Now, it does need to be stated that doesn't mean that you can promise future gains in real estate. That's illegal, but you can't because there are certain situations where a property could be in a chemical hazard area, or it could be a highway could go through and a person could. But as a rule of thumb, though, those are more rare situations. And if you're in steady, if the local economy is steady and there's jobs and whatnot, the real estate and will always pretty much will always appreciate. Sorry, for the most part. So, anyways, so that's how we do it. We build quality relationships in real estate, and sometimes I'll talk on a little bit, but my channel is new. Like and subscribe if you can. And I'm going to keep providing some more quality content, and hopefully you can learn some things from me, and we'll go from there. Thank you.